If you failed the canonical tags test, don't panic. But this does require a bit of explanation if you have no idea what these are. Failing this test means most likely that you've got some similar content, like maybe some similar pages that you're split testing, different URLs for different variations in a similar product, or you've got the same content on multiple URLs and so on. And the search engines are indexing them as such, as different pages. Generally, this is not a good thing since duplicate content hurts your SEO efforts. Generally, you want to rank as high as possible for certain content and keywords, not necessarily get all of your content ranked. So in some cases, it's a much better idea to have this same or similar content count as the same page as far as the search engines are concerned, even if the URLs for these pages are different. So wait, what? How can we do that? That's exactly what canonical tags are all about. For instance, let's say I've got my main index page here. This is my quote-unquote real website, with almost all of my advertisement efforts and almost all of my traffic coming from major cities in the US. Things are going very well with business, I'm happy, yay for me. But in trying to expand my online business and reach new markets, I'm also doing some split testing in a few major Canadian cities. Now the ads I run are one thing, basically carbon copies of my ads for the US market. This isn't an issue. But I've got them hyperlinked to a slightly different URL. 99% the same as my index page, only this one is slightly catering to the Canadian market. Really, just a word or two has changed in the text. I've got the good old maple leaf flag instead of stars and stripes, and that's it. Very, very minor changes. Now this is exactly what I want in terms of marketing, but the problem is that Google and other search engines are likely going to nail me for having duplicate content here. They're going to say, hey, wait a minute, this page and this page are practically identical. Look at all the similarities here. So what's with the two URLs? This dude here is trying to trick us into thinking he's got more content than he actually has. He's keyword stuffing, he's trying to rig the page signal game, we're on to him. So let's dock him some points. Well, boo-hoo for me. I'm doing nothing wrong here, but I'm getting punished for it. Or another example, let's say that I sell custom designed t-shirts on my e-commerce site. I've got hundreds of the things, and customers can not only choose the design they want, but obviously the size and even the shirt style. So I've got hundreds of individual pages with absolute heaps of the same content. The text descriptions, the buttons, and so on, each with a unique URL. And to make matters potentially worse for my SEO, yet better for navigation purposes, I've also got a lot of this content duplicated in different categories, like shirts for men and women, for instance. So that's double the amount of URLs. Yikes. Or same goes if I've got a blog that I've been writing for years. Lots of terrific content, hundreds of articles, thousands of blog posts, conveniently divided across multiple pages to help my users navigate through this massive library of content that I have. Divided content like this is known as pagination. Now in this case, I'd like my blog to rank as high as possible, but I'm certainly not trying to land all 326 of my URLs in the top 10 of the SERPs. I'm just trying to land my homepage. So in all of these three scenarios, I want to do two simple things. One, I want to avoid being penalized for duplicate content. And two, I want to tell the search engines to please spend all the link juice that I'm squeezing out of my site and apply it to a certain page. And voila, that's exactly when canonical tags come to the rescue. It's a way to tell the search engines that everything's above board here. Can you please not treat this as duplicate content, but instead, can we take any positive page rank signal that this page is getting and apply it to this page? So, let's look at a few ways to harness the power of the canonical tag. One option is to add this tag inside the header of each page that you want the search engines to look past, so to speak, in this context that we've been talking about. And point that tag to the page that you do want ranked. Now, of course, if you have thousands of pages that you want to leave behind in the SERPs, then this could get pretty tedious. But it's a solid way to guarantee that you're not going to get penalized for duplicate content or other issues on pages that carry this tag in the header. That is, HTML pages. This method is not going to work for things like PDF files. In those cases, and another method we can use, is to employ the canonical tag in an HTTP header, or your page response. Since files like PDFs don't have HTML headers, we can't very well add canonical links in there, so in those cases, we'll need to implement them another way. In those cases, we can add a snippet of code to our htaccess file. If we're using PHP, then we can add a header like this before any HTML output, which will add the canonical link before it gets sent. Or if you're using ASP.NET, you can add a header like this. When you're done, just be sure to submit your URL to Google's Search Console so that it will get your canonical URL crawled. And one last method to add the canonical tag is through your sitemap. Just specify your canonical URLs there, save, and submit that new sitemap to Google and other search engine consoles. Now, for the record, search engines will still have to crawl the content and understand what duplicate content might be there, and this is generally the weakest approach in terms of getting the search engines to understand what you're doing. The other methods that we just covered are better. But that said, the sitemap method isn't completely ineffective, and it's obviously much easier, especially if you've got this gigantic site with lots of pages. In that case, then about 30 seconds of work, and boom, you're done. Compared to editing all those different pages and adding tags in the head section. Just saying, might be a good enough option depending on your circumstances. Feel free to check out our other videos so you can keep fine-tuning and getting the most out of your SEO. And click subscribe to stay updated with new tips and tricks to get you to the top of the search engine results pages.